Is left-wing YouTube dying? Is BreadTube, as they say, dying? And is the online right, as Turkey Tom goes on to say, going to see a resurgence? Are we going to see just a big jump in right-wing content, right-wing popularity online, and is BreadTube going to die? I think yes. I am fully convinced yes, and I'm going to explain why. Hello, YouTube. Today, we're talking about Turkey Tom. All right, now Turkey Tom is a friend of mine. I'm pretty sure I played Phasmophobia with him. I've been on his podcast a few times. We talk, we hang out sometimes. Not in real life, but we've talked a little bit. We're pretty cool. We're on just generally pretty good terms. Previously, when I first discovered Turkey Tom, I actually didn't like him very much, and I did a couple of response videos to some of his content. Maybe just one? I know I did at least one. I might have done two. Maybe more. I don't know. Go look. You guys can go verify that. Anyway, after talking and actually being able to hash through our disagreements in voice, since then we've been on pretty good terms, and I actually recently began watching some of Turkey Tom's second channel, Tom Dark, where he uploads a lot more, and these videos are a bit more like commentary videos that aren't they aren't as high effort and they're released way more often than on his main channel, Turkey Tom, where he puts probably months of work into one video, and he releases a video once every month or whatever, maybe less. This is the video where he can upload more often and just sort of vent. And he recently uploaded a video that just really stood out to me. And I watched it on my TV in the other room on a different YouTube account, so it doesn't show me as having watched it on my computer, but I assure you I watched it. And it was called the Next Anti-SJW Wave. And what he said in this video, and I'm going to play a little bit of it just to give you guys just a little bit of insight on what he said, just a lot of it spoke out to me. Now, there's a few things in there that are wrong, but I think that he is reaching the core of just an inevitable truth that we're all going to have to face in the coming year, probably, online. So is he against anti-SJW, Xander Hall? He takes a fairly neutral position in this video. He is pro edgy humor, okay? The best way that I can describe Turkey Tom's political views, I've talked to him about the actual policies he believes in, the principles he agrees with. He's fine with LGBT people, trans people, everything like that. I think he probably has a problem with the internet's inevitable sanitization. I think a lot of people, myself included, are witnessing in real time the death of the internet being the Wild West. The internet's getting more and more regulated, more and more sanitized, and I think that he's got a problem with that in many respects. I don't think that necessarily makes him a reactionary. I think that without being a reactionary or a conservative, you can enjoy and miss the days of the internet where you could just go hard on anybody and get away with anything. So, as you guys all know, back in 2019, early 2019, I transitioned my content on YouTube from doing Minecraft content and gaming stuff, and I was inspired to start doing political content. And I started live streaming and doing politics, and it was insane. Back in 2019, and I'm going to say this and make it very clear, it was not hard to get substantially large making half-assed, low-effort left-wing political content, okay? Let's be completely real here. My content back in 2019 was the most half-assed, low-effort bullshit ever, and it was able to grow my channel quite a bit. But nowadays, the quality of my content has done nothing but go up. I've got an editor now. I've gotten better at doing what I do, but my sub growth has gone down significantly, and my YouTube views have gone down significantly since those days. And the same is true, at least from what I've seen, of a lot of other people in the BreadTube space. BreadTube's just not as big as it used to be back in 2019 and 2020 anymore. Now, I chalked it up mostly to the election, and I think that has a lot to do with it. But after watching Turkey Tom's video, I think he makes a lot of really good arguments. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let it play, and when there's something that I feel the need to comment on, I will comment on it. And I don't want to just steal Turkey Tom's content, so we're not going to play the whole video.
Gentlemen, and welcome back to the Tom Dark YouTube channel. I'm your host, Tom Dark, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about YouTube culture, internet culture a little bit. Going to be touching on something that I've been talking about with some people behind the scenes for a long time, and maybe on some streams a little bit, on like Augie's stream or something. But basically, for like a year and a half now, I'd say that I've had this sentiment that I want to express. I'm going to outline my thoughts on it here in a digestible way, sort of a rant video, but there will be a little structure to it, and I think my points will make sense. And obviously, this will be in the stories and rants playlist. I just want to talk about the next wave of political content and my own predictions for it, how I think things are going to go, and yeah, all that. So about 7 or 8 years ago, Gamergate happened, all right? An event which has been talked about a lot. Believe it or not, in one of my college classes, I had an entire like two lectures about Gamergate.
I had a heart palpitation when he said 7 or 8 years ago Gamergate happened. I had a heart palpitation.
And Anita Sarkeesian and the harassment that they face, if you can believe that. I was like sitting in class just basically being told about how Zoe Quinn was harassed by 4chan and Anonymous or whatever. I found it kind of funny. But that's how mainstream and pervasive this stuff is now, right? A lot of people who are not internet poisoned, people who are not in this weird internet world, know about Gamergate in some way and are aware of it. They know about some of the names involved, some of the key events, and while their perspective on it and the details may be warped because they hear about it from unreliable sources or people who weren't there, the movement undeniably got so big and mainstream that it was a very, very influential event for not just the internet, not just internet culture, but culture at large. And Gamergate was really the inception of the anti-SJW and skeptic community on YouTube. I talked about these guys a bit in the video I did about Candid. I talked about the inception of the community and the whole genre of content because it was important to the video when I was talking about them promoting this like fake free speech app that actually was like probably combing for data or something like that.
I'm on Twitter and it's like, yes, hello man, would you like to talk about the Dark Lord patriarchy? He's all around us, keeping us down, holding us back. It's not because we don't work hard, but it's because of the patriarchy. If you don't believe in him, he's internalized inside of you. Join our cult and we'll save you today. Can I slam the door on these people? Can I virtually just slam the door?
One of the biggest communities on YouTube just a few years ago was the skeptic community, a pretty diverse group of individuals who all collected around a few main ideas which held them and their shared audience together. Channels like Sargon of Akkad blew up in the wake of Gamergate, a movement against
Mango goes by a different name now, but is still around. I haven't talked to RS24 or Cindy in a long time, though. New Wave.
Identity politics in video games, which soon enough became a part of a greater wave of criticism against identity politics in academia, journalism, and social media platforms. The anti-social justice warrior wave of content exploded an entire genre of channels in tandem with Sargon, to the point where there were hundreds of people with dedicated audiences making content consistently for thousands of viewers. They criticized third-wave feminism, what they saw as forced diversity in different venues, and made fun of outrage culture for video after video, collaborative livestream after livestream. And while this movement was pretty selfless at first, eventually a lot of these people made YouTube their full-time job. Basically, the skeptics and the anti-SJWs were this whole massive community of people, and they were assembled from a few different political positions and viewpoints, but they united in response to what they saw as this like pink and blue-haired social justice warrior feminist culture that was existing in gaming communities and journalism circles across the world. It was a really diverse kind of scene, the anti-SJW scene. There were people of every race, people of every kind of background, but basically the reason that it existed and the reason they came together in the first place is because of a few key like tenets of their ideology, right? A few important beliefs, and this kind of loosely held them together for a few years, probably like 3 years, 4 years maybe. One of these things, a huge thing for them, was promoting freedom of speech. They wanted to allow people to speak as much as they wanted. They wanted freedom of speech to be a huge deal, and as a result, they were also anti-political correctness. Many of these creators were very edgy. They like to say a lot of edgy things, make edgy jokes, and that was a big part of the kind of culture of the community. And I would say another core belief was this anti-identity politics thing. That was probably above most others, right? They felt that identity politics and you know, conversations about race and sexism within media, particularly video games, hence the whole Gamergate thing, had really been a big deal, and they had a huge aversion to that. And this genre, this type of content, this community, absolutely fucking exploded on YouTube, with creators like Sargon of Akkad, Shoeonhead, Armored Skeptic, Chris Raygun. I mean, the list really goes on and on here. Some black guy. No, I'm not saying that in a racist way. His YouTube name is some black guy. And even creators that have been more in like the atheism community and had been a little...
Sorry I haven't talked for a while. He's giving like a lot of very important exposition here that I feel like letting him just give it to you will just be a lot better than me, because this is an actual like prepared video and not a completely improv live stream necessarily, although he might have improv'd this, but I assume he could, like, if he fucked up, he could edit it, you know, like I'm sure some post-production happened to the video that allows him to push the point a little better than I could. So I'm just going to let it play for a hot minute, because he's just giving background. He's going to get to like the thesis of the video in just a moment.
Older, like a TJ Kirk, right? He became a part of some of these circles for a little while and really blew up as a result of shitting on feminists. Blair White is another name you probably recognize, and these guys really blew up massively. They had hundreds of thousands of loyal fans. People would be funneled between them, and there was just a huge community going on around this type of content and these beliefs being promoted on YouTube in videos. It was kind of framed as like a half comedy, half commentary thing, but also there was like an inherently political angle to it, right? A lot of channels in the commentary scene, which is more where I'm from on YouTube, right, also blew up off of making content in this realm. I'm Alex, Leafy, Chubbs, Brad Does Banter, all those guys were making sort of anti-SJW and anti-feminist content back then, and it was very lucrative and it was very successful. There was a massive market for all these guys to fit in and make this kind of content. A lot of people went after sites like BuzzFeed. There was a big anti-journalism kind of feeling within this community, which still exists to this day on YouTube, I'd say, to an extent, and I'd say is pretty justified. Even H3 back in the day was making content about these cringy, insane feminists and all that, right? This video was titled Crazy SJW Gets Triggered, featuring Humongous, and is a very popular video on the H3 channel.
So how would you usually react if somebody just said their name was...
This Humongous video, I feel like, is just a perfect depiction of everything that's wrong with the left, okay? And we're going to get into it in a moment, all right? Just get ready to cringe your hearts out. Have any of you not seen this video? Hypers in chat if you don't know who this man is and you don't know the story behind the video you're about to see. You guys don't? Oh no. Well, what you're about to see is basically the woman's voice you're about to hear. This woman was basically the face of feminism on YouTube in like 2016, okay? This was the face of feminism and just generally being progressive and on the left in 2016. That's what you're about to witness.
It's humongous, too. Because for me, a normal reaction would be something like this. You know, a little exhale through the nose, not a full laugh, but just kind of like, you know, and then move on.
That's how you react to any dad joke.
But how does a social justice warrior react to humongous? Well, the results may surprise you. Brace yourselves, guys.
This is shocking.
This will shock you.
It's humongous.
Okay. Humongous what?
I'm going to turn the video down so you can experience this clip in all of its unsped up glory. This video contributed greatly to me hating feminism, okay? When I was a teenager.
Humongous.
Okay. Humongous what? Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
He's like, that's the joke. That's the whole joke.
For those that don't know the background, she asked what his name was, and he said his name was Hugh Mungus.
It's humongous. He's like, did she not
This
get
is
it?
the reaction that she had, you're about to see.
Humongous. That's the joke. I'm a dad. Look at me. I got the slick back. I've got receding hairline, guys. I'm a dad. Do you not get the memo?
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
That's what it is.
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment?
No, it's humongous.
Then why did you say that to me?
That's my name.
What? Humongous what?
Humongous what?
Humongous what?
When dad jokes get too real.
Okay, stop cutting Ethan Klein. Just show the video. I'm showing the original video because I feel like that clip doesn't get it across enough just how bad that original video is. Hold on.
Humongous what?
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment? Is that what you just did when you said that to me?
What, humongous?
Why would you say that to me?
Yes, but my name.
Why would you say that to me?
Why would I say it to
Why
you?
would you say that to me?
Why would you ask me my name?
What? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? Humongous what? This person just spoke to me in a sexually harassing way.
I did not.
Yeah, he did. He said, "Do you know what my name is?" And I said,
"You
"What?"
want my
And he
name."
said, "Humongous." Yeah. This person just sexually harassed me.
I said I'm humongous.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Humongous what?
Humongous.
So now you're actually pointing to yourself. You're actually pointing to your body parts, and you're actually pointing to your body parts and saying that you're humongous. You're actually doing that. And this is the person who just got interviewed as a pro-bunker person of color, as if you represent us. They're using you as a token, and then you speak to me in a sexually harassing manner. How dare you? How dare you? Disgusting! Disgusting!
You left the room saying your daughter's lives matter, but you
Disgusting! You just abused a woman! You just abused a woman, and you have the audacity! You have the audacity to say that girls matter! How dare you? How dare you, you disgusting person! Disgusting! Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Lower your voice.
Are you going to do anything about how he sexually harassed me? Are you going to do anything about how he sexually harassed me?
I'm gonna ask you
Are you
to
going to?
I need to go.
Okay, he's asking me to leave. He's asking me to leave after I've been sexually harassed.
I'm just asking.
You're asking me to.
Did what I've played of the video so far get the point across? Because I think it did. I don't think I need to play any more of the video. It goes on for literally another 7 minutes, okay? There is much more to the video, and there's a lot more screaming. I think you guys understand what I mean. Shit like that video was popping up on the internet non-stop from 2014 to 2017, okay? That shit was the face of the left. If you were a young, politically, not even politically aware, just a young person online, especially on YouTube, and you were interested in any of the larger creators at the time, from H3H3 to fucking actual right-wing channels like Sargon. If you were anywhere in that massive net of content, you probably saw that video, and you probably were under the impression that that woman represents feminism, the left, what it means to be progressive, to be in favor of just any progressive policy. That shit made the left look so fucking bad and gave the right online so much goddamn stuff to complain about. And Well, you don't really have, like, how easy is it to make a video making fun of this lady? This had careers handed them on silver platters. Videos like this gave them everything that they need. Speaking of which, I think we've gotten everything we need from the Turkey Tom video. He's given you guys all the lead up you guys need. Now we can talk about the actual topic of the video. So in this video, Turkey Tom goes on to explain how back in 2019 and up until fairly recently, up until the election, you could literally, just like back during the days of the skeptic community, upload some of the most low effort, low quality, just like, as long as you are making some kind of argument and putting a little bit of effort into it at least and got the video out and you cover the right topics, you could blow up pretty large, pretty easily, because there was a market for this type of content and there wasn't enough content creators out there to fill that market. And we're going to get into that in a moment. We're going to get into why that is in just a moment. Don't worry. Turkey Tom then goes on to give his opinion that in the last couple years, the same thing that happened with the anti-SJW community, the audience realizing that the content wasn't exactly as entertaining or as influential or as smart as they thought it was, and they just eventually give up on it, and they stop watching the content, then those channels end up dying. Turkey Tom posits that is the future of BreadTube, and that we're seeing the beginning of it. And I do think he's right. Now, he goes on to give a bunch of reasons in the video, and many of them I think are good reasons, and I'd love to, watch the whole video on stream and tell you what I do and don't disagree with, but, I mean, there's not much to disagree with and call out, so I'd basically just be restreaming his whole video, and we're not going to do that. Anyway, is left-wing YouTube dying? Is BreadTube, as they say, dying? And is the online right, as Turkey Tom goes on to say, going to see a resurgence? Are we going to see just a big jump in right-wing content, right-wing popularity online, and is BreadTube going to die? I think yes. I am fully convinced yes, and I'm going to explain why. Let's look at some social blade pages from some big, popular left-wing YouTubers and streamers, okay? The first one, of course, the biggest, left-wingest, most popular streamer is, of course, Xander Hall, okay? You can see, like, a direct line here, right? So here's 2019, January 2019, when I started uploading political content, and you can just see as my monthly gained subscribers went from being like 50 to like 150 to like 99 to then 1,465, then 4,536. Then it went down for a little bit because I didn't put enough work into my content. And then I started really putting work into my content, started going up again, gaining a few thousand subs per month, dropped a little bit, but then 2020 came around, and that was the best year by far, gaining thousands and thousands of subs per month. And then November 2020, I'll give you a hint on what happened in November 2020 later. And all of a sudden, monthly gained subs starts to go in the negative even some months, and sometimes just a couple hundred gained subs per month. Same goes for viewership. Viewership during my peak, 600,000, 820, and 30,000 views. Now I'm struggling to get half that. But that's just my channel. That's just my channel. Maybe my channel's just dying. It is what it is. Joe Biden did that? Motherfucker. Yeah. Anyway, look at Vosh's Social Blade. He's doing pretty good, but he's seeing a very similar change. You can see if we go back to like 2019, as his sub count growing pretty consistently. 2020 comes around, the best year for left-wing political streamers because it's the election year and Trump was in office. You see, gets really big in 2020, especially around November. And then, November 2020 happens. Ooh. Now, this isn't meant to fuck over, not meant to like shit talk Vosh or any creators who are doing well or who are seeing like a drop in views or sub growth on YouTube right now. This is to be expected. But if we're going to like talk about this and talk about like the death of BreadTube and the next wave of anti-SJW content and the future, you'll see that's wild. The peaks and valleys are so similar. You're going to see a lot of trends among all of these left-wing content as to when they were growing a lot and when they were when they've started to dwindle. Let's look at Innuendo Studios. Oh my God, what the fuck is this? I guess this is every time he uploads. Okay, Innuendo Studios isn't a good person to make a comparison to because these types of channels upload like twice a year, and when they upload, they have a big spike in views and subs, and then it just fucking dwindles until they upload again, because they upload like once a month or once every 2 months. Not a good comparison, but you can like tell, like very small amount of growth compared to like if you look at 2020, even when Innuendo Studios wasn't uploading in 2020, he was getting 5,000 subs a month. Now, since then, 4,000, 2,000, 3,000, 2,000. Even Innuendo Studios is taking a hit, right? Look at ContraPoints. Now, ContraPoints is a fairly similar situation, but you can see during like November of 2020 and whatnot, the channel was at its peak. November, January. She uploaded in January in 2021, so obviously it spiked, and then the drop spiked because of an upload. And then a drop that's lower than the drops were back when YouTube, like BreadTube, was doing well. Let's look at Demon Mama. Now, Demon Mama I put on here simply to show why I can't put Shark or Demon Mama or Chud Logic or anyone like that on here. There's a certain point where, like, so Demon Mama started out, like, pretty small. Like, she started out in, like, 2020. Oh, wait, where's Gain Subs? Yeah. She started out, like, really uploading in December 2020 and has nowhere to go but up from there. Like there, you can't, like... Even with BreadTube doing as badly as it is right now, Demon Mama's got nowhere to go but up. Shark has nowhere to go but up. Chud Logic has nowhere to go but up. Like, a lot of these smaller creators are going to have nowhere to go but up, but it will not continue infinitely. Like, Demon Mama's going to hit a plateau. Shark's going to hit a plateau. All of us hit a plateau, and all of us hit, like, big thermals where we start just skyrocketing again. I'm going to explain how that works in a moment. This is a demonstration of not every content creator going on right now. Like what's going on with every content creator right now, but a good demonstration of what's up, right? Some of the larger content creators that just blew up in 2019 and 2020 are just like dwindling right now. I mean, Vosh isn't exactly like hurting for views or for money, but you know, it's clear there's clearly a change in the online environment that has resulted in this, right? He is stagnating though. All the LeftTubers are stagnating except the small ones that have a lot of upward growth potential. Because right now, there's no upward growth potential for the largest political streamers. There's barely any. If a Republican wins in 24, we're fucked. Wrong, Austin Lefty. Wrong completely, Austin Lefty. And I'll get into that in a moment, okay? Let's talk about this. Why do I think all of this is happening, okay? Well, it depends on who you ask, okay? If you ask a conservative why BreadTube is dying right now, or why certain parts of BreadTube are dying right now, to be more specific, they would probably say it's because the people are wising up to how stupid and dumb and wrong these LeftTubers are, and they're realizing the right is correct, and yada yada. And they'd probably go on with the whole, like, high and mighty, like, oh, the people are realizing that BreadTube is full of shit, and that's what they would probably argue. Here's the reason why I think it's going on. I think that certain political ideologies online, at least for the foreseeable future, and I can prove that it's happened in the past, can be directly affected by the general cultural trends that we're seeing online. And I think it swings back and forth almost as a reaction to which one is most prominent right now. That's genuinely how I think it's going right now. Gamergate, era, culture. What was going on in internet culture during the Gamergate era, and just generally the culture in our world during that time? BreadTube era culture. We're going to split it up into multiple areas, and then finally, we're going to finish it off with current culture. All right. Let's go over things that just immediately popped. When you think 2014 to 2016, what do you think? Let me show you guys what I think. Edgy CSGO videos. Leafy clones. Keemstar. Like, Keemstar really blew up in like the Gamergate era. By the way, I'll add little time frames here, just to give you guys like an idea. 2014 to 2016. And I'd say BreadTube era culture is 2017 to 2020. And I'd say current is 2021 onward. There we go. Oh, gotta shrink myself even. Honestly, I'm just gonna put myself down here. It's my stream. I can decide where I am on the screen. Stay mad. All right. Let's continue to add to our list here. Okay, what else do you guys think of in 2016? I think edgy humor. I know edgy humor never really went away, but edgy humor being like the general, like just being like everywhere, is just what I think of when I think 2014 and 2016. What else do we think of in this time period? Culturally, feminist rect compilations, anti-feminism specifically was just popping off. KYS humor, like drink bleach or just, hang yourself or whatever. KYS humor was really popular. Anti-SJW video essays, like Filthy Frank. Filthy Frank. Yeah, that's a good. We'll just use Filthy Frank, like just generally. That should give like you an idea of like the segment of YouTube we're talking about. DSP. Nobody likes DSP. Wait, you think DSP was a part of internet culture back then? Hasn't DSP always been hated? I don't know anything about the guy, but isn't he like Wings of Redemption? Ripping on lolcows. Attack helicopter jokes. Hillary Clinton is evil, which is true, but conservatives got it wrong. PC culture bad. You guys remember how like PC culture, like PC, like politically correct was what everybody was talking about. Fucking South Park had PC principle. All of a sudden everybody was talking about how everything's becoming too PC and we had to learn what politically correct meant, what PC was. PC culture bad. What else? What else you guys got for me? Bill C16. Bill C16. Jordan Peterson. Ben Shapiro. Look at that. Safe spaces. Big Red. Yeah, anyway, I think this is enough. I think this is enough to get across the point that I'm making. What was going on online and in real life culturally that everyone was talking about, that everybody, like, just everywhere that you looked, you couldn't get past this kind of shit. When it came to that era of the internet, edgy CSGO videos, I should just say edgy gaming videos. I thought CSGO because that was the game I played a lot back then, but you could just insert any gaming thing. Leafy clones, Keemstar type people, edgy humor, anti-feminism, kill yourself humor, Filthy Frank, ripping on lolcows, attack helicopter jokes, Hillary Clinton is evil, PC culture bad, Bill C16, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Safe Spaces, Big Red. Oh, and of course the final one, the rise of Trump. I mean, that's a pretty easy go-to. Oh, and of course, the rise of the alt-right. There we go. That's all that we need for the Gamergate era. I think we got it across now. So now we see all of the cultural trends that were going on back in the Gamergate era of 2014 and 2016. Now let's think about 2017 to 2020. What has been going on during those times that you think, that just comes to mind, that went on in 2017 to 2020. Let me list some things. Shit tons of right-wing terror attacks. That's the first one that comes up to me. That's the first thing that comes up. We're not talking about the rise. Stop. Don't say rise of Vosh, rise of Destiny, or anything like that. Stop that. Chill. We're not talking about the rise of any particular creators, okay? Now, shit tons of right-wing terror attacks can range anywhere from Christchurch to Charlottesville, okay? Literally, just look into it. Kraut getting dogpiled. What the Nazis did to Kraut was unconscionable and fucking evil and snaky as fuck, and I don't like it. Though, because you mentioned Kraut, I do feel the need to mention Kraut himself is also an insane psychopath. Kraut is downright fucking insane. If you don't believe me, go watch Vosh's debate with Kraut. Kraut just screams the whole time about how Schuonhead is dating a Nazi and how how Vosh wants to fuck Schuonhead. It is insane. Twitch getting big. Now, the reason why I add Twitch getting big here is because a lot of Twitch creators are like Twitch is a pretty left-leaning platform, so a lot of the content creators on Twitch are just generally going to be fairly left-leaning. From like, do you think Pokimane fans are going to be that right-wing? You know, like no, like no, yeah, no. The rise of Twitch getting big, which led to the rise of Hasan and whatnot, and obviously the rise of Destiny is also included in this. We're not going to get that specific with it. Just Twitch getting big, lefty debaters doing well and growing. That's all I'll say for that. Lefty debaters doing well and growing. Okay? Oh, yeah. How about this? This is a good one. Me Too. Me Too happened. Well, Me Too had been going on for a while before, but Me Too started to get more credibility in this time period. You're right. BLM. George Floyd. Well, that's not how you spell Floyd's name. George Floyd's name doesn't have an E in it. George Floyd. Antifa's not a good example. Actually, Antifa is a good one to put here. Antifa. Pro BLM sentiment. Remember, during 2020, BLM had the overwhelming amount of Americans, white and black and of all races, supported BLM during 2020. And that support, it was like 70%. That support has dropped massively since Biden got elected. Support for BLM has dropped like a roller coaster. Like when you drop support for BLM has dropped in this country like a roller coaster since Biden got elected. Everyone was down to support BLM when Trump was in office, and now it's like whoa. Let's okay, we're not all on board with it now. Anyway, how about this as well? Anti-Trump sentiment, which was really growing then. The election, which is obviously a big part of it. Formerly popular right-wing creators getting exposed for shit from pedophilia to racism, right-wingers and Nazis getting banned from large platforms. What else you got? Oh yeah, here's a good one. The right freaking out over diversity in everything and being roasted for it. We could go on for much longer, but we're running out of space, but I think this gets it across, right? Oh yeah, like we could add trans awareness too, yeah. Just like generally, LGBT awareness up, like we can just add that little bit. There we go. That should do it, just generally. So obviously, we can see there's a pretty clear, comparison between these times, right? Oh yeah, anti-SJW infighting too. I don't know how we would add that in here. How about this? We'll do a little, because this is a very good bit to add here. Anti-SJW infighting. There we go. These are the things that I feel like more or less summed up culture online and in real life around the time of 2017 to 2020. Shit tons of right-wing terror attacks, which made it clear how dangerous conservative sentiment is. Anti-SJW infighting everywhere. These right-wingers are just constantly tearing each other apart. Twitch getting big. Lefty debaters doing well and growing. Me Too becoming much more reputable. You had Epstein get exposed, Weinstein get exposed. You had the fucking, even right-wingers with Pizzagate were kind of doing a Me Too type deal. Me Too get a lot more attention. George Floyd was killed, and that George Floyd getting killed, nobody who isn't a racist could see the video of George Floyd, dying and being murdered and think that cop was in the right. And from there, we obviously saw shit tons of pro-BLM sentiment. Now, whether or not it was just virtue signaling by white, same with Ahmaud Arbery, yeah, but we can't fit that in there. Just generally, how about we just replace George Floyd with police shootings? Or just police violence, police brutality. We'll just make it more broad. Because, obviously, there was more cases than just George Floyd, even though he's kind of the face of the whole thing. I guess we could also add in here COVID. Because COVID was the right's fault. The conservatives around the world didn't take COVID seriously enough, and we all suffered for it, and it made the right look pretty bad. So, Do you guys see like a pretty big difference between the general cultural trends outside of purely political communities between 2014 to 2016 and 2017 to 2020? Are you guys like trying to pick up? Are you guys starting to pick up on what's going on here? The general cultural shift online at the time was one that the right had every single opportunity to grow in. Back in 2017 to 2020, the general cultural trend, because of the state of the world, was one in which left-wing creators could very easily grow and have very strong, sort of social push online. The idea that 50k subs is small as knucklehead shit. Well, Alex T, 50k subs is small enough that you don't make enough money off of YouTube at my size to live comfortably. That's the thing. Like for me, I consider myself at 63,000 subs to be small because I don't make enough money to live comfortably. Once you make enough money to live comfortably, frankly, I don't care how small of a creator you are, how low your sub count is. If you're making enough money from that audience to live comfortably, you're fine. Then you're a large YouTuber. The final meme, all right? The final meme. Let's hope we don't cover up chat too much here. Current culture in 2021. What is everybody talking about? We all know cancel culture, critical race theory. What else? Capitol riot, pro-Capitol riot. Tons of Americans are pro-Capitol riot. We're seeing tons of fucking protests in the street of crazy people all over the fucking country. Anti-vax sentiment up. Anti-vaxxers are getting really popular right now. Space Jam 2. Oh yeah. Worshipping Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero rather than a child who is put into a very unfortunate situation that we should fight. Even if you agree that Kyle Rittenhouse was innocent, which I do, we should not be celebrating Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero. We should be trying to fight to reach a point where like everybody is like super duper like we want to fight for a world where nobody has to do what Kyle did. Okay, we want to fight for a world where we don't have kids going out with fucking guns shooting people in the street to be like fucking vigilantes. Okay, that's not the world we want to live in. What else we got? Crypto and NFTs blowing up, and NFT space being loaded with racists. There is so much racism in the crypto and NFT space. It's insane. Afghanistan pullout fail blamed on Biden. Anti-Biden sentiment mostly on the right. To be clear, this is not lefties or liberals being anti-Biden. It's right-wingers being anti-Biden. What else? What else we got? Oh yeah, Red Scare 2, Electric Boogaloo. Or we'll just put in everything is communism. Yep, everything is communism. There we go. Leftist infighting. Hassan House drama. Socialism equals no house. There we go. Socialism equals no house. Anti-Twitch. Or anti-big tech. Anti-censorship. I could go on for so much more. QAnon, cracker discourse, all that fucking bullshit. I could the big lie, Jan 6th. Yeah, of course, like Jan 6th, the big lie. Zoom out and take a look at what I wrote. All right, this is what we got. Obviously, as you can see, there's a very clear trend that we've seen in the last 3 eras of political content online. Okay? Back during the Gamergate era from 2014 to 2016, when the online right was at its absolute peak, general online culture was at a point where it would best facilitate that. The online left also had no good representation, and that is what I really want to get to the core of, okay? The one thing that the right really had going for it in 2014 to 2016 is little to no good lefty representation. That was one of the biggest problems back in 2014 and 2016. The right had carte blanche on YouTube and online to push whatever narrative strawmans they wanted to about the left and to get away with it because there were no lefties online who weren't, insane to say, no, we don't actually believe that all white people are evil and we don't want to do this, and this that you claim we want to do. Like, it wasn't until people like Destiny and Vosh and me and Chud Logic and Demon Mama and just like left-wing debate people came along that argued against those effectively that you really started to see that narrative start to get pushed down. And along with that, we started to see the logical outcome of right-wing sentiment getting more popular in our world. We saw that following the Gamergate era, tons of right-wing terror attacks, and just generally society became more progressive and anti-right-wing. Our culture got more progressive and anti-right-wing during that time. And naturally, there was, because of that, a much larger group of left-wing people or people interested in left-wing content who wanted to consume left-wing content in let's say late 2017 to give a good time. And basically anybody who was putting out content that was left-wing, that talked about what people were interested in at that time on the left, you would blow up. You could do extremely well. Vosh's growth alone was unprecedented. He literally hit like 100,000 subs in a year, from zero, which is insane. It's insane to grow from 0 subs to 100,000 or whatever in like a year. I think it was like a year. No, it wasn't in a year. Okay, never mind. It wasn't a year. But like in like 2 years, from 0 to 100K plus is insane. And that was what was possible during that time because there was such a massive audience for this stuff. But now we're starting to see the kickback. Every single cultural trend that we've seen in these eras has been a reaction to the previous. All of this stuff caused the right-wing terror attacks and everything. All the bad outcomes of shit like this resulted in society getting more progressive and the left blowing up. But why is it then that the online left is now starting to dwindle while the right is culturally having a massive renaissance despite Biden being president, and the online right is blowing up? Look at the most popular online right channels right now. Look at the online right. Look at their YouTube channels. They're growing. They're blowing up. Even the YouTube channels from the right that were dying like a couple years ago are now growing again at similar rates that they were back in 2014 to 2016. When Turkey Psalm says that BreadTube is dying and we're heading into another wave of anti-SJW content, we are. We are going right back into it. It is a repeat of history. Look at it. I've laid it out right here. I can prove it. I feel like this is good enough evidence to suggest that there's a pattern going on here. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job of substantiating that. Most of BreadTube is an online thing, and these are the things that influence online culture. And I do think that until the next election cycle, until the end of this election cycle, until the end of Biden's term, whether it be 1 or 2 terms, we're going to see the online right get way bigger, very similar to like they did in 2014, 2016. Another thing you also have to consider, 2 things you have to consider, 2 extra things that apply here is new generations and the left is unstable. These are 2 things that we need to think about. These are long-term cultural goals, okay? These things that I'm about to talk about refer purely to how well is the left doing in a cultural sense. If you go into any general space, how likely is it that most people in that space will be left-wing as opposed to right-wing? That is what my goal is. I want more people to be left-wing. That's my goal. That's my, what I do, okay? These are 2 issues that I think we need to think about right now. New generations, okay? Just because we went from Gamergate era culture to BreadTube era culture back to, Gamergate 2 era culture doesn't mean we won't go back to another one of this in the future. And there's no reason why it won't keep swinging back and forth for the foreseeable future. I think a lot of you guys, including myself, are very young. We've been in this political scene for not that long. A lot of us haven't really been watching this particular content politically for all that long. Maybe some of you started in the Gamergate era and, that you're here now. I don't think many of you in chat started before the Gamergate era. Not many of you. Some of you definitely, Lonnie did. Some of you definitely did, but not many of you. But if you talk to people who did, you talk to people like Sam Cedar, for example, you can see they'll affirm this. They'll say, yeah, this is exactly what happens. Even Sam Cedar, who's been around for like a decade or more at this point, has also said that, yeah, his channel takes a massive hit when there's not a Republican in office. When there's a Republican in office, left-wing stuff does well. When there's a Democrat in office, right-wing stuff does well, which is always going to be a thing. But on top of that, there's the cultural trends. And the cultural trends tend to follow the opposite of what is popular at the time, with like the boomers, right? Right now, Biden is in office. Biden's a Democrat. Biden is progressive. At least he seems to be. So now the counterculture people want to be anti-progressive and edgy. During the Gamergate era, that was the truth as well. And during the BreadTube era, that was the truth of people like that ended up being left-wing. I think that's why we saw the rise in the tanky and Nazbol movement during this time. A lot of people just wanted to be radicalized to another crazy, insane political movement. And instead of like, finding out like a good political ideology, they went from like Nazism to either becoming Nazbols or tankies, which I think was a big thing that did happen in 2017 to 2020, which was a big problem. And I imagine many of those same people will probably become Nazis again in the coming years. Anyway, new generations. Let's talk about that. New generations, like people who are like next year going to turn 13 or whatever, have no fucking clue what has happened from here all the way back to Gamergate. They're going to get into this current culture right-wing shit. We're going to see in the next 4 years a whole new generation, just like back then, of young teenagers getting radicalized to the far right. And I guarantee 2, 3, 4 years from now, go back to this video, several new right-wing alt-right terror attacks will occur with manifestos attributing whatever popular new conservative figures are going to blow up in the next few years as their inspiration, just like it happened back in the Gamergate days. Because that's what happened. A lot of the big pushback was these right-wing terrorists doing right-wing terrorism and then saying, I did the right-wing terrorism because I was influenced by this kind of shit. And that's why this era happened. Now, holy fucking shit, you're right. I need to talk to my younger cousins. The younger kids don't know. Like, they just don't. They don't know, like, how... They don't know, like, that this trap exists for them. This is going to be the new Gamergate. They're going to get all suckered into it. They're going to learn about cancel culture and CRT and all that shit and how the vaccines are bad and Kyle Rittenhouse is good and crypto and NFTs and Wall Street bets and all that shit. And it's going to happen again. Xander Hall's having a midlife crisis. Is this what you think? I'm 22 for one. This would be like an under quarter life crisis. But like, I don't know. Enough doomering. What can we do? You'll notice, and we talked about this earlier, there are some people online in the political scene right now that are left-wing, that are growing and are doing well, as opposed to like, that are not seeing the same results as the data that I showed you. Many of the creators that are growing right now, not all of them, but many of the creators that are really blowing up right now are newer essay commentary, bisexual lighting YouTubers. A good example of this is Noah Samson. That dude is literally gaining 4,000 subs a day right now. Now, normally, just seeing a left-wing YouTuber with somewhat good left-wing ideas getting big would suggest to me that the online left is heading in a good direction, right? Maybe that, 2021 was just a bad year for LeftTube, and it's going to come back a bit more as we get close to the next election. And I'm sure that is true. Like we're going to start, I've obviously started growing a lot more since 2022 started, even just the last couple weeks. And, late 2021, I started to see quite a bit more growth. Same goes for Vosh. And a lot of the channels that started to stagnate in 2021 after Biden got elected have started to see a little bit of a good push in the right direction, at the start of this year. And I think it'll slowly start to get better as time goes on, but the right is going to blow up a lot more. I am worried about channels like Noah Samson and people like Hassan blowing up on YouTube because they're stupid and they can't defend their positions. Hassan Piker is an idiot, and he doesn't claim not to be, okay? He literally calls himself a himbo. Hassan Piker is not very good at defending his positions, okay? Not even in his segments when he's like responding to, like reacting to content. He's not good at defending his positions. Nobody learns anything new from Hassan. Nobody watches Hassan in order to learn anything new. Hassan's an ideologue who is funny sometimes. If you think he's funny, then he's funny. And that's what people watch him for. It's because he's funny, he's hot, he molds, and he yells a lot. And he has a lot of memes in his community. That's why people watch him. He is not, however, capable of defending his positions. He is an ideologue. He does not have the ability to defend his positions. I do not believe it. I don't believe that Hassan is capable of defending socialism as a concept. I don't think he understands it enough to defend it as a concept. He's so fucking boring, though. I agree, Alex T. I think most of large streamers are boring because they, like, small streamers are always more entertaining than large streamers. It's true because big streamers have grown enough of, like, a sycophantic, like, parasocial relationship with their audience that they can literally just blow up with absolutely no issue, right? Try giving more examples, lol. Progressive/leftist channels by black creators have been getting really big this past year, for example. I'm so glad you brought this up. I'm so glad you brought this up, okay? Because some of the examples you list here, I know these people, and they're exactly the problem I'm talking about. I have no problem with black creators getting really big, and I don't recognize a lot of the people you listed here. I'm sure a lot of the people you listed here are fine. Let me check something really quick. FD Signifier is a dumb fuck. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I was iffy on him for a while because, like, I thought maybe he's just not into the whole, like, left wing. He's been shit-talking the whole BreadTube, like, he's been shit-talking the debate bro thing for a while now. This is FD Signifier, by the way. This is him. He's also gone on Twitter and said some dumb fuck shit about, like, BreadTube debate bros and stuff like that. Here's the thing. People like FD Signifier, Noah Sampson, and, like, these more, like, you know, these, well, I'm fine with them. I like their content. The problem is, these all have one thing in common. They're super elitist about it, and they, as you mentioned, Somniostatic, and they hate and nonstop shit talk debate bros. They're not talking about Destiny, KDO. They're talking about me, Destiny, Vosh, Demon Mama, Chud Logic, just anybody who does debates like this. They aren't talking specifically about Destiny, but of course Destiny's included. I'm going to say this right now, okay? There are completely good reasons to dislike or take issue with anything I, Destiny, Vosh, any of us do in this whole space. The type of criticisms I'm talking about are not the good, like, valid criticisms, okay? They'll just shit talk the concept of being a debate bro and claim that debate bros are all toxic assholes who make the left worse. You're starting to see that rhetoric get really popular among the left right now. Who do you think of when you think of online lefty right now? What do you think of? We need more folks like Lonerbox who does both. Lonerbox is fucking base. I guess the problem is that I'm starting to see I'm starting to see BreadTube right now turn into what left-wing YouTube was. I'm starting to see the online left turn into what it was back during the Gamergate era. I really am. I'm genuinely starting to see the online left turn into what it was back then. Back in the day, the online right, one of the biggest common talking points from the right during this era was the left was too afraid to debate and defend their positions. That's why Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro blew up so much. It's because they debated, and they didn't debate well, and they weren't telling the truth. They just debated. Just the fact they were willing to debate gave them more credibility than the left, because nobody on the left wanted to debate. The left at the time were high and mighty, BuzzFeed videos, feminist, like, video essay content, and, like, woke scoldy, high and mighty, preachy, non-funny, non-edgy, milquetoast, fucking not whitewashed, fucking sugar sweet, fucking condescending left-wing content made by, well, trans people with pink hair, okay, and blue hair, which obviously isn't a problem in and of itself, but it does kind of make the left, you know, it makes gives right-wingers, makes them mad. But I'm more so talking about the attitude, not like the optics of who's advocating for what, right? That doesn't matter. I don't believe in the idea that, like, we should relegate certain identities to the sidelines because their identities are, like, bad optics. I don't believe in that, okay? Optics are important, but they're not everything, right? And that's where I have an issue here, is that a lot more of, like, the current getting big left-wing content, that, like, left-wing channels are like, let's look at our BreadTube, actually. Let's take a look at the BreadTube subreddit, okay? If you guys want to see something really sad, back during 2019 when I first started making content on our BreadTube, like, the top posts all had, like, 10,000 fucking likes, okay? Like, all had 10,000 upvotes or more, okay? Do you want to see what the BreadTube subreddit looks like right now? I'll tell you what. They've banned basically all live stream content and debate content off of the subreddit. This 159,000 members, this was the subreddit to grow on during the BreadTube era. The BreadTube subreddit has absolutely been fucking destroyed. 294 upvotes, 59 upvotes, 79 upvotes, 30 upvotes, 36 upvotes, 33 upvotes, 26 upvotes, 10 upvotes from a Hassan clip. I guess they allow Hassan. 19 upvotes. This subreddit was getting tens of thousands of upvotes on the top posts for the day back when I joined, okay? This subreddit, I got banned from posting on the subreddit. They shadow banned me on here. They started banning any Vosh content uploaded on here. They started banning any live stream debate bro content. Any debates that get uploaded on here gets yeeted. It's all run by tankies and woke scolds now that are anti-debate, anti-live stream content. They only allow shit like more people need to know about Indiana's fascist education bill that puts incredible strain and restriction on teachers, could suspend them without pay for practically zero reason, and allow for librarians to be jailed for disseminating material deemed harmful. Like, this is important, but like, I'm sorry, but nobody cares. I'm sorry, nobody cares. I'm sorry, nobody cares. If this is like your pitch for your video that's supposed to get people interested about a topic, nobody's gonna give a fuck. I'm sorry. I'd rather have to wear a fucking ball stretcher for 2 hours than watch this video, okay? I'm so sorry. And I'm interested in this topic. I'm interested in the idea of a fascist Indiana education bill, okay? That concept is interesting to me, but the title and the way that it's pushed is just so fucking bad. It's a paragraph title. The title is literally a paragraph for the post. When Hollywood speaks Chinese, cringe. On the boil, unrest in Iran. Can't work, just die. Ableism, fat phobia, and medical industrial complex. God damn, dude. This is exactly what the people want to see. This is exactly what will get people clicking on this fucking content. This subreddit was by far the biggest gathering of left-wing like YouTubers and the fans of those YouTubers on the internet. This is where people were getting big, where small lefty streamers were starting to grow and do what they were doing, and it just got taken over by like the whole anti-debate bro, anti-LeftTube bullshit. I said for a while now, I've said since 2019 that woke scolds and the anti-debate bro shit would end up fucking over the left in a big way. And I think we're heading in that direction. I mean, I've shown enough evidence to say that we are currently going in that direction. We are currently seeing the result of that. The thing I'm worried about is, do you think that the left online would do better with people like Hassan and Noah Sampson and FD Signifier being the largest figures on it? The types of people who say debate is bad, who literally say debating is bad, who say that live stream content is, well, I mean, Hassan doesn't say this, but who are like against the idea of live stream political guys. Hassan gets a pass because, you know, everyone's clout sharking after him. But like, do you think these are the people who literally as a concept are against debate and defending your ideas, and they publicly say so? Do you think that this is what we want representing the left? Didn't Hassan try to debate too, Mad? Hey, listen, do as I say, not as I do, Daffy559. That's Hassan's general political opinion, okay? Hassan has done tons of debates in the past, and yet he still shit talks people who do debates and says that debate bros are pieces of shit, okay? And are psychopaths, okay? Hassan doesn't hold himself to, and I'm not talking about the house thing. Hassan doesn't hold himself to the same standards he holds other people to. And I'm not referring to the house thing. Okay, I am not referring to the house thing or him making money at all. I think just generally, Hassan doesn't hold himself to the same standard he holds other people. I am seeing a worrying growth in the current largest left-wing figures on this platform proudly exclaiming how anti-debate they are, and how anti-defending your ideas they are, and how anti-good optics they are, basically. I'm really worried that we're going to start to see a repeat of 2014 to 2016, not just in the rise of the anti-SJW community, but the left-wing community is going to look a lot like it did back then, too. I genuinely think the combination of, like, crazy TikTok lefty teens, and like the fear-mongering around cancel culture, critical race theory, and the Capitol riot, and anti-vax shit, and Kyle Rittenhouse, and crypto, and fucking all this shit. I think all of this fucking shit is going to lead to not only the right going back to where it was back in the Gamergate days, but the left going back there too. I think the only way we fight against this, the only way that we solve this problem and prevent this horrendous future from occurring, we can't prevent it, but to survive this horrendous future, as the online left, is say fuck these pieces of shit. Say fuck you, FD Signifier. Say fuck you, Noah Samson. Say fuck you, Hassan Piker. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. No, don't be proud that you can't defend your ideas in a debate. Don't proudly exclaim to the online right and everybody watching that the left isn't and shouldn't defend their ideas. Shut the fuck up. We're beginning our own lefty arc now, chat. Only it's going to be the anti-debate bro lefty arc. We're going to be going against the people who shit-talk debate and claim that the left shouldn't be capable of defending our ideas. We're also seeing the same thing in the massive amount of people on the left who have been defending Professor Flowers in the debate against Vosh. Have you guys noticed that? Have you guys noticed how much, like, Vosh has always gotten shit online? Like, Vosh always got shit, right? But, like, have you noticed that, like, there's been, like, it seems like people hate Vosh more lately? Like, Vosh is the face of online debate bro politics on the left at this point. Have you noticed that from the Professor Flowers debate to even, like, the Mr. Girl debate, Vosh has been getting way more hate, it feels like? Like, I feel like I'm hearing way more people shit-talk him in the general online left following, like, debates that should not be as contentious as they were. Like, there should not be a 50-50 split in the left on whether or not genocide is okay as long as it's done to white people. That should not be a thing that splits the left in half. Or the fact that people on the left hate Vosh so much that they'll defend Mr. Girl following his fucking pedophile shit, okay? And Mr. Girl's got a long history online, okay? It's sus, okay? Mr. Girl's probably a pedophile. If you look back at all the shit he's said and done over the year, like going back like last year or two, as far as I'm aware, it seems like he's probably a pedophile. The guy has consistently come out in favor of like rhetoric that sexualizes children. He did a whole video defending Cuties and talking about how much he liked the movie. And yes, I'm aware that Cuties is meant to point out that like sexualizing of young girls is a huge problem. We need to stop it, but I think it was maybe executed poorly. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Okay, that's all I have to say. Hopefully you guys agree, and hopefully maybe in the future, now that there's people like me, there's people like Vosh, and hell, even people like Destiny still around debating right-wingers and debating conservatives. Hopefully we'll see a bit of a change. It won't be exactly like it was during the anti-SJW Gamergate era, but I can't fully make the promise. I can't predict the future, but I definitely want to get this video out because I like making predictive statements and then going back years later or months later or weeks or days later and seeing how accurate I was. Remember back when I was getting called No Lip White Boy on Twitter constantly? It was back when I was playing through Firewatch on stream. I predicted that Black Hammer and the Black Separatists would ally with neo-Nazis, and they got canceled on Twitter I got canceled on Twitter because people kept on saying that I was comparing black separatism and black liberation to Nazism in doing that, and then exactly what I said was going to happen happened. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon, follow my social media, linked down below. I really do appreciate it. And of course, if you feel like donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub so that I can get some money so I don't starve to death, then consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub over on my website, donating through Streamlabs, super chatting over on YouTube, or pledging me on Patreon. I do like eating food, so it'd be appreciated if you guys did that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.